the heroism of being a scientist. How much we so often overlook what the contributions that scientists make. There are awards for actors and athletes and what have you, and very seldom do we celebrate the true heroes that are offering breakthroughs that affect our everyday life. The award that we just gave is an important award to me and to him and to anybody that's ever had a relative deal with cancer. The idea that he had come up with this insane idea to actually have your own cells start to combat those cancer cells is something no one would have ever dreamed of. It's something that you would have thought lived in science fiction. And we just got off the stage honoring and giving an award to someone who is doing the unthinkable, really. That, we just saw Joe Biden talk about how he was committed to ending cancer, and I think we all are committed to ending cancer. So the award that we just gave is something that we're proud of.
Thanks for coming up here and doing it. I mean, I think it's super meaningful to all these folks because, a lot of what we're trying to do is show that science is as recognized in our society as athletes and actors and entrepreneurs and people who people write about a lot more.
Absolutely.
And so I don't know. I think it's really cool to come together and do this. And it takes a lot to get, I think, both of us wearing a tux. So maybe I don't know.
No.
I mean, you wear a tux in some of your movies, right? I mean,
no,
Triple X. Triple X coming out.
Yes.
Next
Do I have
January.
I have a fur coat in Triple X. I don't know if I have a tux.
I think there is a scene.
By the way, guys, since he's going to bring up Triple X, I'm going to tell you guys a secret. Part of the reason why, we all know that I was doing Triple X because I needed to laugh and smile again on screen in between the dark, brooding roles. But the person that initiated the timing of me doing Triple X is my friend Mark. So we were together about a year ago. And he's the one that encouraged me to move about a year and a half ago, encouraged me to move very fast to make Triple X. And I thought, if Mark Zuckerberg appreciates Triple X that much, the least I can do for somebody that's allowed, because I owe him a great deal of gratitude, and I'm serious, because he's provided a way for me to bring the world closer together. We both think in global terms. What Facebook does is it allows the world to communicate together in a way nothing else does. And it's the real agent of change. When you think of agent of change, when you think of technology that's an agent of change, Facebook has allowed for that. And the fact that I can communicate to 100 million and trickle down to 1 billion people and send whatever message of love or unity or multiculturalism is because of the work that the innovations that he has come up with in creating Facebook. So I will always be.
I mean, I appreciate this Facebook ad here. Back when we first met, I think you didn't believe me at first how big of a fan I was of Triple X.
I did it.
I think and what did I say? I think I said, Are you kidding? I live for this shit. And which is I think by far the best line. I think you say that as you're pulling the ripcord, jumping out of a plane.
That's right.
In Triple X, and I like to think that I played some small role in encouraging you to make the new movie. But anyhow,
a huge role.
Let's get back to science for a second.
Yes.
Because we're a little far off from genomics at this point.
That's right, and that's why we're here.
And so this is the 5th year that we're here at the Breakthrough Prize. And the Breakthrough Prize, I think, is pretty meaningful to these scientists. It's actually the biggest award that you can get in the field. It's $3 million. So for the handful of laureates who win the Life Sciences Prize or the Physics Prize or the Math Prize, there's nothing bigger than this that you can win that rewards you and your lab for the work that you're doing. And over the years, it's gone to such folks as the Corey Bargman, who now runs the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative science initiative, right? So the big effort that we just kicked off to try to help the scientific community cure, prevent, and manage all disease by the end of the century. It's gone to folks who were involved in building LIGO, to the huge physics effort, to and all the folks who were involved in trying to find gravitational waves, which have become more popularized in the last couple of years, and we finally found the existence of that. So a lot of really cool stuff. When you come here, and it's like pretty amazing people.
It's really amazing. I have a feeling that this show is going to keep growing and keep growing, and I'm glad, I'm lucky to be here in the 5th year, because I can only imagine what it's going to be like on the 10th year, and I can only imagine how much it'll grow. Science, life is science, and science is life. That's the bottom line, and that's where we all come together.
When we first met, one of the things that struck me about you is how authentically a geek you were. And I say that as a geek myself, with love in my heart. And that is one of the highest compliments that I actually feel like I am qualified to confer to another person. But you told me all these stories about how when you were growing up and going through school, you were really into math and science and computers and gaming and all of these things, and that's actually how that shaped a lot of how you think about your work now.
Sure, and I think it's important to so many people will discard math and science, and I guess a lot of people don't embrace their inner geek, and there is great call to embrace your inner geek, and I am lucky enough that through my work and through kind of being probably the coolest person in Hollywood, I have the liberty to say I'm also a geek in many regards, and I celebrate that. And you wouldn't imagine, you think that, okay, as an actor, I just go in front of the camera, but to come up with mythology, to play out sagas like Chronicles of Riddick, even something like Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious having 8 films and scheduled to go to 10, takes a kind of vision. It takes at the studio that they can be at the saga visionary, because I take a geek approach to kind of designing the mythology of something that's basically a cool movie, but behind all of that, and that's something that Michelle Rodriguez always teases me and says that I DM Hollywood, which is totally a geek term. But no one would ever think that Gary Gygax would have, his last request was for me to play him and tell his story. So I celebrate that, and I think one of the reasons why Mark is bringing that up is because there shouldn't be a stigma. There shouldn't be a negative stigma about being interested in things and curious, because at the end of the day, what is a geek other than, it's a label for somebody that's intensely curious about something, and
and it could be how to drive cars off bridges. It could be how to ski through jungles.
It could be
how to do all kinds of action sports. No,
oh God, it could be, and it could be.
You have entered the Xander zone.
It could be very much the Xander zone. It could very much be the Xander zone. When you see the movie on January 20th, send a thank you to Mark's Facebook page and say thanks for encouraging him to make the movie.
All right, so because we're doing it live here, we got actually 2 going, and I think they're both working now. Do we have any good questions coming in that we want to take?
Yeah.
Before we go back in there and see the rest of these awards?
Yeah, because we're supposed to be sitting and eating dinner. But what do we have? Is there something you want to ask?
Mostly comments.
Yes, lots.
Not a lot of questions.
Any questions?
All right. Now that we've thrown it out to the floor for questions, we'll wait a little while for the questions to come in.
Yeah.
But let's talk for a little bit longer while the questions are coming in about some of the other cool scientific stuff that we've seen here. So
we should.
So have you gotten a chance to meet a lot of the folks who are the laureates today? There are 13 laureates.
I'm dying to meet them. you know, it's no secret that you're my only friend here. I don't know anyone else here. I'm
Just because you have 100 million followers on my platform?
no, because you're a lot like me. Because the similarities are.
What's up? All right, I think we got some questions.
John wants to know what your favorite scientific innovation is.
All right, well,
you must be asking Mark. So
I'll go for one, and I'll give you some time to think about yours.
Yeah.
But I'm not letting you off the hook for
Okay,
this
my
one.
favorite scientific
so a couple
innovation.
years
That's a good
ago,
question.
Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel Charpentier won the Breakthrough Prize in Life Sciences for an extraordinary discovery of this bacteria called CRISPR-Cas9 that allows actually the editing of genomes. Right, so it was only about 15, 16 years ago that we were, as a society, fully going through the Human Genome Project, doing the work to try to sequence the first genome for the first time. Since then, genomes have gotten a lot easier and a lot cheaper to sequence, and now, you know, if someone has a disease, they can get their genome sequenced and you can map it to see what disease they have. But CRISPR is one of the first times that we now have a biological machine, if you will, that allows you to cut a piece of DNA and insert another one and essentially edit what you're doing. So those two scientists are really amazing. And as that gets built out more and more over the next 5 or 10 years, I think that's just going to unlock so many more discoveries and a lot of cures for diseases, and it's going to be really important. I think one of the most important discoveries of this decade. I think.
Wow.
Your turn.
How
Your
in the
turn.
world would I provide something like that? I knew that question was for Mark. Is there a question from Mark's page for me?
So Francesco would like to know if Mark's going to be in any of the Fast and Furious movies.
You know,
I'll tell you what, Francesca, you want to know something? Because you asked me that, and you put me on the spot because you asked me in front of my friend, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. Mark Zuckerberg is in the next Triple X.
all right.
Sorry,
That's
guys.
not really true, per se. But I mean, look.
It's not
I
my
mean,
fault.
are you gonna like take a picture of me and have the picture in it? It's like,
Mark,
all right, look,
you
we'll,
can
we'll,
do
we'll,
it.
we'll,
I
we'll
know
follow
you
up
can do
afterwards.
it.
Let's just say
You
that
asked the question,
I'm not
I'm
as good of an
answering it.
actor as he is a
Not
geek.
true. You
So,
killed it on stage.
So we'll.
Your
you know,
jokes were huge.
I
I'm
stick
there.
to,
I
I
had
stick to
mud
my
on my face.
technology, my engineering.
Come on.
Maybe a little science.
Self-modesty is not
know?
going to play here.
Well, look. Here's what I can say. It was listening to watching Fast and Furious. I was on this road trip with Priscilla through Europe. This must have been. Do you remember what year this was? 2013, 2014,
2012.
2012. What year was that? Was that Fast 6?
That we made Fast.
I don't think
in
it was the one
2020.
where the tank goes driving down the freeway, but
That
it
is
was
the one.
Was it? All right, well, that
That
was
is
good.
the one.
So Priscilla and I are
It came
doing
out
this road trip
2013,
through
but we
Europe,
made it in 2012.
and so we watched Fast 6 in a movie theater in Prague, which of course Prague, if you're a Vin Diesel fan and you're watching Triple X, is of course where it ends and where he diffuses Ahab, which
On the Valkyla.
I mean, look, it's-
on the river, yeah.
I'm not going to start pulling out trivia from your
My
movies that
God,
even you don't know
he's-
soon.
he's good.
But
You won't even believe what he did before, though. He actually corrected a line.
That's
I
true.
said, and it
That's
was
true.
the
I mean,
most
I was gonna bring that up.
embarrassing
I was gonna
thing
bring
I
that up.
have ever seen. Just
He-
literally.
he goes-
He
goes,
does this to me.
he goes, I had to put it into the movie. I live my life 10 seconds at a time. And I'm like, don't you mean you live your life a quarter mile at a time? And I'm just like, yeah, look,
Guys.
yeah, I did just pull that out.
Guys! It was a low moment in my life. It was really, really embarrassing. Thank God no one saw that. And thank God no
thank
one's
God
watching.
we're not talking about that on
No, thank
live.
God no one's
it's
watching.
not.
Thank God no one's
That
watching.
would be
That would be really
embarrassing for both of us that I knew that and that you
Yeah,
didn't.
it was a beautiful moment.
All right, but that might be as close to a movie as I get.
No, I don't. No. You have talents and skills that you have to tap into.
Last time I was in a movie, none of it was true.
No, I'm gonna take care of you. Come on, you know, I take UFC fighters and I put them in a movie.
right.
I could definitely take a genius like you.
Okay,
but
all right. We should wrap this up and go back and
Okay,
watch
we're gonna go back.
the scientists and celebrate them. But
Thank
for everyone
you.
who's watching, You can actually watch the Breakthrough Prize. It's live on National Geographic now, or you can watch it online. I think it'll be online later. So,
And I think it'll be on Fox or some,
Yeah, I think-
on the 18th. Everyone will be able to see it. But you should definitely check it out.
and please join us in congratulating all of the laureates in life sciences, physics, and math this year. They're doing extraordinary work to advance our understanding of the world and to improve people's lives around the world. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, and I'll just reiterate that, you know, we so often go to award shows for acting or for movies or for athletes. This award show is the people that we are acknowledging are people that will affect our lives, our kids' lives, our parents' lives in many cases. The award we just gave, like I said, anybody that's ever dealt with cancer has a soft spot for the award that we just get. So definitely tune into this. It just got super cool. And remember I told you, I'm the geek, he's the cool kid.
All right. See you guys.